evening, sir. Good evening.
Good
Yes,
evening. Sit down, please. Okay, Surbhi Singla.
Yes, sir.
Surbhi Singla, you are from IIT Delhi,
Yes, sir.
Chemical Engineering. Then you have, after that, did you do anything after Chemical
No, sir.
Engineering?
I've been preparing since then for civil
Since
service.
then.
Yes,
You passed out in 2017.
17. Yes, sir.
After that, 5 years have passed.
Yes, sir.
You are full time, you are doing this.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Now, you have done chemical engineering.
Yes, sir.
Now, can you tell us, you have done chemical engineering from all major engineering processes? You have got some idea about when engineering processes of major industries in India? What is the chemical engineering? How you can apply chemical engineering in major, like oil and gas sector? You have
Uh,
some idea?
Yes, sir. So in the oil and gas sector, so number one, there is.
No, I'm saying, have you got idea? Then I will ask you a
Yes, sir.
question.
Some idea.
Some idea. Okay.
Not only.
Okay. Now, chemical engineering obviously is a very important this thing in the oil and gas sector. India being in the midst of an energy crisis
Yes.
because Ukraine-Russian war. So, in the all this thing on the energy sector now. The government is very worried. The citizens are worried because we have to increase the production. We don't have to. We should not depend more on the imported oil because
Yes.
we got only very less amount of oil we produce, around 15% of our demands.
Yes.
So we have to increase. So can you tell us something about in the upstream exploration and production? Which are the agencies in India which do the bulk of the production, exploration and production? Which are the companies in India?
So the bulk of production is governed by Indian PSUs, IOC, HPCL.
IOC does the product by the exploration and production of crude.
Sir, I'm not aware. HPCL does the refining of crude.
Refining, I'm not asking refining.
Okay.
Refining is a later on process. Once the crude is extracted from under the ground or through a oil well, and maybe in the offshore, maybe from a sea bed, then the refining thing starts because you cannot use the crude in which it is obtained from Mother Earth. You
Yes.
have to refine that. So HPCL comes to the picture, IOC. But I'm talking about the production stage, bringing it from down below.
Okay, I'm not aware, sir.
Okay, so then you might not have any idea, or you have an idea. Okay, the refining process, you have got an idea about how chemical engineering is applied. You have some idea?
Yes, sir. Some
Okay,
idea.
very nice. So refining, when you by pipeline, it comes to refinery, which is
Yes.
basically where the HPCL comes into the picture, and the IOC, Indian Oil Corporation, comes into the picture. There are other agencies like BPCL, HPCL, MRPL. There are very big refineries in the country, and they are the lifelines.
Yes.
And from there, the refined crude goes to the pump through the agencies. They go to the various pumping stations, LPG. Then the petrol pumps, where you get your fuel for running your cars, or running your industries, and other agencies. Now there, what are the processes involved? You have got crude oil, and crude oil has to be refined, and they have to be produce petroleum, and
Yes, sir.
maybe other. What are the other types of byproducts you get from crude petroleum?
Sir, we get naphtha. We get
Start from the
petcoke.
beginning. Crude is coming, and what is the process by which we separate the byproducts? How many products are there? Byproducts are there in the crude, mixed in the crude? Approximately. How many?
So approximately 6 to 7.
Exactly. So first, what is the process by which we separate the byproducts? From
Sir,
the crude oil?
distillation.
Yes, fractional distillation, which
Yes.
means
Sir, which means products based on their different rates of evaporation will separate from
exactly.
the
It is a simple school level chemistry where you do fractional distillation, and use temperature, it evaporates, it gets condensed. So that because only the Mother Earth has made a very beautiful this thing. All the byproducts are evaporate at different temperatures.
Yes.
So that is the trick
Yes.
of the trade. And so you heat them at different temperatures. They evaporate, then get condensed. Is the basic. This is the chemical engineering principle.
Yes.
But there are huge containers. The engineering of it is, of course, you have to do. The first byproduct which comes out of the fractional distillation process is
So the topmost.
topmost.
So naphtha, I believe.
No.
Okay.
Okay, you don't know the first. So last product which because the enormous temperature, everything evaporate, everything condense, everything gone. Now the crude contains only some remnants, residues. Which is the name of the residue?
So pet coke.
Bitumen.
Okay.
It's called bitumen, which is used for road construction. You like a pitch
Okay.
and coal tar type of thing.
Yes, sir.
In between these petroleum comes. So naphtha. Okay, you are mentioning about naphtha. So naphtha is used for now. Naphtha is a byproduct which separates
Yes,
crude
sir.
oil. Then it is used for what purpose? Okay, is there any other byproduct which is comes to your mind?
So we have petrol, kerosene.
Petrol, yes, petrol, kerosene,
Yes,
yes. Then
so petrol, kerosene, diesel,
diesel,
I can
yes,
think of.
bilkul, very correct. And you ride. I mean, you take planes also, no?
Yes,
You
sir.
take
Aviation turbine fuel.
aviation turbines fuel, ATF.
Yes, sir.
Why is it different from petroleum? In petroleum, it runs cars. Why do you need a separate fuel for running aircraft?
Sir, I didn't think in this direction. I'll go back.
Okay, and this naphtha, etc. Then you get paraxylene also, paraxylene and the other. So these are basically used for what purpose? Naphtha, paraxylene, used for what purpose? Very important purpose. Otherwise, the country will come to a stop. If these products are not produced in the refineries, the country's progress. Forget about progress. The country will that even your day-to-day operations, your households will come to a stop.
Sir, if I may take a
Yeah,
guess,
please,
it is used in
please.
the production of natural gas.
No, gas is a separate. I'm talking of the crude oil. Gas, of course, this comes out through these oil wells. They are for some other purpose. But I'm talking of crude oil. You are saying there are 7-8 byproducts
Yes,
are
sir.
mixed. These you say one is petrol, kerosene, diesel, naphtha, paraxylene. I'm talking about these byproducts are used. They are feedstock for some other industries, chemical industry. You are in chemical engineering. So
Yes,
chemical industries. So which are the industries they are feedstock? Those chemical industries then don't produce the final products. You will not be able to live in your house, or I will not be able to. The country will come to a stop. Okay, you'll have to
I'll
read
have
this.
to read.
This will be a chemical engineer will be expected
Yes.
question. Okay, fine. Now I will come to my second and last question is about Punjab. You are
Okay.
from Kapurthala,
Yes, sir.
and you for a little time you were Delhi, of course, and then gone back. Probably staying there only.
Yes, sir.
Kapurthala only.
Yes, sir.
Punjab has seen the worst of the times, and they have seen the best of the times also. So now, right now, of course, it has been regime change, because of certain reasons. Even now, there are serious developmental challenges in Punjab.
Yes,
What
sir.
are those challenges? Short and sweet, first, second, third, and
Okay.
you are in charge. Suppose you are in place of, imagine yourself, you are in place of Mr. Man. You are the chief secretary, chief minister.
Yes.
Why think low? Think
Yes.
high. I am the chief minister of Punjab. What I will do? Money. I've got political will. I've got the money. I've got the budget. I've got the goodwill. I've got the Punjab diaspora with me. Punjabi diaspora with me. I've got everything.
Okay.
How will you attack?
So number one will be agrarian reforms. Punjab is still an agrarian economy. So focus on food processing sectors to connect farmers with the food processing industries to eliminate middlemen in this sector, number one. Number two, inflow of private investments in the agriculture sector. For instance, cold chain infrastructure in the sector and procurement by the private sector, quality checks, standardization of agricultural produce, transportation linkages. So number 2 will be in the manufacturing sector. Most of the manufacturing currently in Punjab is decentralized. So to tackle this, number 1, develop standard quality checks so that large scale manufacturing can take place in Punjab. Number 2, attract private investments through labor law reforms and other measures. So number 3 will be law and order and security issues. Drugs menace is a very crucial problem for Punjab due to its proximity to the Golden Crescent. So hard measures in the form of greater pharmaceutical regulations as well as border checks, and soft measures in the form of generating employment for youth of Punjab, skilling and
this is the one of the most important areas, generating employment. One of the biggest reason, as the experts say, that due to this drug menace and the criminalization is due to unemployment.
Yes, sir.
So how will you boost the employment sector?
So number 1, employment in the agriculture sector itself. So transforming the agriculture in Punjab from being a generator of raw materials to being a generator of finished products, and diversifying
like food processing industry you're talking
yes,
about?
Sir, food processing industry.
So how will you, what are the things you will stress on food processing among the industry? What sorts of food processing industries?
Yes, sir. So number 1, for instance, there is horticultural produce. Instead of selling fruits in the market, selling pickles made out of fruit or jams made out of fruit. So adding
that Vega or Vespa or something they have been doing since so many years, maybe 30, 40 years. I'm seeing Vespa, Vega, nobody buys them. People do buy, but it's not so profitable. Apart from there, they'll employ a large manpower. It doesn't really solve that problem. Yeah, they have got Moga, they have got some, that they are not of that scale where they can employ a large number and all that. So these are the government initiatives, some local, little, but not the scale. You are Mr. Man, Bhagwat Singh Man.
Yes, sir. So scale can be generated in this sector through employing farmer producer organizations instead of individual farmers. For instance, we can popularize one district, one product scheme, and we can organize the farmers into farmer producer organizations, connect them to the private sector through contract manufacturing schemes, so that there is large.
Punjab farmers were deadly against those 3 farm laws where say contract farming was one of the farm laws.
Yes.
They say nothing. Mandis, FMC and mandis are the only answers. They were vehemently 700 farmers laid down their lives. Many of them were Punjabi farmers.
And
yes,
Mr. Man's party also opposed.
Mr. Man's party also opposed.
Yes, sir. So the reason behind this was lack of communication between the government and farmers. Farmers were miscommunicated, and they had fears like the MSP regime will go away or APMCs will be wiped off. So I believe that proper channels of communication between the farmers and the government to allay fears, and a deliberative approach wherein both the farmers and the government are on the same page with respect to these farm laws is the way forward.
Tomorrow government comes back and says, after they were not, but they will say they have been harassed too much. But they will come back and they say, okay, we are ready to have some break breads over 2-3 days and have some conclave or something. Will you agree? Will the Punjabi farmers agree for contract farming?
Sir, can you please repeat the last?
If the government breaks bread with the farmer union leaders like Rajora and all these, and then they say, but the underlying core will be the contract farming. Contract farming is the main core of that agrarian reform bills.
Yes, sir.
Will the Punjabi farmers, all these Darshan Singh and all these Rajoraji, they will all agree? Contract farming was on the main MSP and contract farming. They are the two
yes, sir.
The points on which all these negotiations broke down. And you said contract farming is the only answer.
Yes, sir. So probably bringing farmers on board to these farmer leaders on board to certain committees and explaining to them how contract manufacturing can be brought in with certain safeguards.
Their main contention is contract farming means you are bringing in Adanis and Ambanis through the back door.
Yes, sir. So bringing them on committees and ensuring certain safeguards.
They are in the committees. They are in the committee. Government says no. There is no such intention. Whoever wants to come, they will negotiate with the farmer directly, and they decide on the pricing, and they will employ them as a contract farmer, and then that is the end of the matter.
Yes, sir.
Government said n number of times. They didn't believe. They say it is. They are saying one thing upfront, another thing backdoor, because of the reason. They also have their point. They say the Ambanis have huge resource, so they can manipulate pricing and they can manipulate farmers. Once they get into the market, they can manipulate say 1,000 farmers, 10,000 farmers. So once you mobilize, leverage those sort of farmers, they can manipulate pricing. You can manipulate their conditions. So that is
Yes.
the fear. So that is they said ki unless we have the freedom of choice, the farmers. When the contract farming starts, the freedom of choice will no longer be with the farmers. That is the fear, which may be justified also. I am not trying to. So that is the point on which all these negotiations broke down. And that also includes your MSP, because contract
Yes, sir.
farming may not include the MSP. This MSP and contract farming both cannot go together.
Yes, sir.
The price is decided by both the parties. The government is no longer in the picture. You are the farmer, I am Adani. I decide, both of us decide price.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So exactly for these kind of fears, a number of safeguards. For instance, number one, they mentioned the monopoly of certain private players. So there can be rules such as rules as we already have in certain laws. For instance, not more than 10% of the total produce in one specific sector can be bought by one firm. Then there can be other safeguards such as grievance redressal laws. Then we can organize farmers into FPOs so that they have the strength to negotiate with the private sector. We can complement them with extension services. To allay these fears, we can also launch a pilot model in one village. We can communicate with the head of this village, take these farmers on board, launch a pilot for a year, show the success of this initiative to other farmers.
Good. So this is by which this is the contract farming, and you will this is one way of generating employment.
Yes,
and
sir.
Next.
So number two will be manufacturing sector. For instance, Ludhiana is a hub of bicycle manufacturing. Jalandhar and Amritsar are sports manufacturing hubs, but none of these have taken off because there is small scale manufacturing and quality checks are poor. So bringing in schemes such that there is greater investment, there is a greater manufacturing on scale, and there is greater standardization in the market will ensure that these industries take off. They also export to neighboring states and they generate employment. Number three will be services sector, within which number one is agriculture extension services and number two is tourism. Punjab has many historical as well as cultural spots. For instance, the dhabas of Punjab are famous throughout the country. We have the Jallianwala Bagh, which preserves the rich history of our freedom struggle. So we have many tourists. We also have forts in Kapurthala. So these can be capitalized. Tourism can be encouraged, which will generate a large amount of local employment. And number two is again through agricultural extension services, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Survey,
Yes.
for the northeastern states, two major decisions were taken by Government of India in the recent past. What were they?
So I can remember one. They had reduced the scope of AFSPA. They had reduced the number of districts that were covered under the AFSPA law, sir.
And the other one you don't remember?
No, I'm sorry, sir. I don't.
Okay. If I asked you what is the Swamitva scheme?
Sir, Swamitva scheme was launched. It is digitization of land records through the use of drones. So, land record digitization. So drones will be used.
What are land records?
So land records are a record of who owns a particular land. So this record is used for multiple purposes. For instance, disbursement of loans, schemes like PM Kisan implementation. These are land.
Can you name give me a few names of the land records that are usually kept before the Swamitva scheme? Forget about Swamitva.
Sir, I'm not sure. We have the agriculture census, we have the NSS, but I'm not aware if land records are a part of these surveys, sir. So I'm
But
sorry.
how would the record be digitized by a drone? Record is here, drone is there.
Sir, drones will be used for surveillance of these land pools to verify their ownership.
To verify the ownership. Okay, supposing you are posted as a district magistrate of some district
Yes, sir.
in Punjab, and all the patwaris are on strike, and the government and the state election commission is conducting elections to the panchayats. You have to conduct those elections, and patwaris are very, very necessary for conducting elections. What will you do and how will you carry out?
I'm sorry, sir. One small clarification. Who are patwaris? What is their role in?
In Punjab, what do they call patwaris?
Patwari is called Patwari only. Patwari is the revenue, lowest
Okay.
revenue
Lowest
official
revenue official.
who resides in the village.
He
Who
keeps
has
the
the
village land record.
land records.
Okay. Okay, sir. Can you now please repeat the question?
If the patwaris are on strike
Yes.
and there is this task is on your head to conduct the elections to the panchayats, what will you do?
I'm sorry, sir.
Okay, forget about it. Now you have one of your hobbies is following developments in the agricultural
Yes, sir.
technology. Huh?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by this agricultural technology? What do you
Sir,
follow?
agricultural technology is deployment of technology in the agricultural sector at various stages to enhance its productivity, efficiency.
So have you come across some new innovations in agri technology?
Yes, sir. There are many innovations happening worldwide. One I can think of within India is by a startup called Kheti. They are deploying this in Bangalore. They are building mobile greenhouses for farmers. These so these greenhouses are made of materials such that they cost about just 50% of a normal greenhouse, and they help enhance the productivity of these farms. So other than this, we have genetic varieties of seeds as one technology. Other than this, we have digitization in the farm sector. For instance, drones can now be used to spray chemicals on fields. We have nano fertilizers which enhance the efficiency of fertilizer absorption.
Who has developed nano fertilizer?
Sir, IFCO recently developed nano urea.
Commercially available in the market?
Sir, I'm not aware, but I don't think it is yet available.
Mhm. Okay, and you have another hobby of healthy baking.
Baking, yes, sir.
So baking I know, but healthy baking means what?
Sir, healthy baking is by, for instance, we bake cakes, cookies, lasagna. We can make all of these products healthier for consumption by all family members. For instance, if we substitute the sugar in a cake with natural sugar like banana mashes or dates or other products, so the sugar content can be eliminated. Similarly, sir, if for instance, if you're baking a pizza, instead of the maida base, we use a millet
Okay,
base.
okay, thank you.
Surbhi,
Yes.
in Punjab, one of the most glaring sociological change that is happening is quite a lot of people are migrating to foreign countries, particularly Canada.
Yes, sir.
And one of the issues that was seen was this plight of NRI wives. Are you aware of this phenomenon?
Yes, sir.
What is it, and explain what is their plight?
Sir, there are two things. Number one is that a lot of NRIs come to India to marry women and then they abandon them and move back. And number two is that a lot of people after migrating to Canada do not take their wives along, and these wives, due to lack of financial independence or other economic means of survival, suffer back in the country.
What are the legal problems that these NRI wives face?
So number one is that if they are married in India, they sometimes do not qualify for citizenship or residence in another country. So they are not able to migrate with the husband. Also, the children born out of such marriages may not qualify for residence or citizenship in another country.
Mhm.
Uh,
And
so this is all I can think of.
is there particular law that deals with such phenomena, or
So
Really?
I'm not aware of such a law. I'll go back and read, sir.
there's Section 13 CPC that
Okay.
deals with this mutual respect for the law, that is
Okay.
called the reciprocating territories. But most of the countries to which these people migrate do not reciprocate. They are not in the list of the reciprocating territories. So
Okay.
any decision taken here is not binding in those. So even marriage here may not be recognizable with that.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Have you heard of General Shahbeg?
No,
You know
sir.
Shahbeg Singh?
No, sir. I haven't.
You heard of Operation Blue Star?
Yes, sir.
Who was
So
the prime person involved in Operation Blue Star? Why did it happen?
sir, I'm forgetting
These
the
people
name.
migrate, do not
Indira Gandhi government
reciprocate.
at the
They are not
center led
in
this.
the list of the
The
reciprocating
person,
territories. So,
Sir
any
Bendre
decision
Wala
taken
from
here
the gold.
is not
Yes, sir.
binding in. So even marriage here may not be recognizable.
No, sir. Okay.
You heard of General Shahbeg? General Shahbeg Singh?
No, sir. I haven't.
You heard of Operation Blue Star?
Yes, sir.
Who was the prime person involved in Operation Blue Star? Why did it happen?
Sir, I'm forgetting. Indira Gandhi government at the center led this.
Against who was the person who was leading this movement, due to which Bhindranwale?
Yes, sir.
You've never heard of General Shahbeg? No.
No.
Okay. He was the accomplice of Bhindranwale, and he helped in armed fortification of the. He was a decorated general in the Indian Army.
Okay. Thank you.
You heard of Operation Grand Slam and Operation Gibraltar?
No, sir. I haven't.
Okay. Is it safe to say that partition of India was partition of Punjab?
No, sir, not exactly, because Bangladesh was also carved out of West Bengal as a separate territory. So
Now that Bangladesh has become a separate country,
yes,
can we
sir.
say now that the partition of India and Pakistan was partition of Punjab?
Sir, to some extent we can, because the problems that have arisen out of the partition are mainly confined to India's western borders, and Punjab as a state has been a victim of a lot of partition consequences. For instance, the migration immediately post partition happened on a large scale between Punjab and the Pakistani side. Number two, we have the drugs menace coming from Punjab. Then we have terrorism, or the alleged role of Khalistani activists who are migrating from Pakistan. So the issues that we are seeing around Pakistan, Punjab has been a center of most of these issues.
There have been a lot of news about these arms drop and explosive drop through drones on the Indian
Yes, sir.
territory, especially in Punjab.
Yes, sir.
What can we do to stop this menace of drones coming into India?
So number one, we need smart policing at the borders. For instance, night vision cameras and automated systems and smart fences to ensure that.
What does a smart fence mean?
So a smart fence is basically, so it is not a physical fence, but
Does it exist?
sir, not at present, sir. So it isn't a physical fence. It is basically a virtual monitoring of the borders through.
Now, tell me a few practical examples. Say you are SP in your bordering district, Taran.
Okay.
So there are few of such arms drops happening in your area. What will you do so that it doesn't happen in your area?
So number one is night vision cameras to ensure there's 24/7 surveillance of the borders and surveillance of every object that is penetrating via the borders. Number two can be community policing. It is a sustainable and economic means. We can train the villagers and incentivize them to report if any foreign object is being seen near the borders. Number three is development of infrastructure in the border areas so that forces can reach in time to the end of the border. Yes, so that's all I can think of.
What is the difference between international border, line of control, and line of actual control? Have you heard these terms?
Yes, sir, I have.
What is the difference between the three?
Sir, an international border is basically a territory demarcated and accepted by the two countries involved as well as the world at large as the territorial extent of a country. So, line of control is basically an innovation which is the agreed administrative which decides the administrative control of one country over a territory. For instance, in the Jammu and Kashmir region, the Aksai Chin area territorially belongs to India, but the line of control, as per the line of control, this region lies in Pakistan. So,
And line of actual control?
sir, I am not able to recall right now. I've read about this.
That's fine. You can always read about it.
Yes, sir. Thank
Surbhi,
you. Yes.
as a chemical engineer, although you had a very short stint in ITC,
Yes, sir.
please tell me what are the nature of job profile?
Sir, my job was to explore. I was employed with the confectionery business of ITC. My job was to explore automation across their 8 contract manufacturing units and standardize the best practices across these 8 units to optimize their output.
And you worked there only for 2 months.
So it was an internship
Why
during
did you leave
college. So it was an internship during college time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, since you belong to the chemical engineering discipline, as a district magistrate, one of the most challenging job for you will be to identify the organizations which are producing untreated effluents. That is
Yes, sir.
most
Yes, sir.
challenging job that we'll be facing. Every
Yes,
DM
sir.
faces it. So, what action will you take? There is a large penalty for those who violate these guidelines. How will you utilize your knowledge of chemical engineering?
Sir, untreated industrial effluent is a point source of pollution. So, by monitoring the level of pollutants at various stretches of a river, we can point out the stretches where effluents are being discharged. Based on this, we can then divide the territories and conduct surveillance conduct surveillance of the factories belonging to this territory to point out the source of this discharge and then take further action.
Okay. Water treatment plants
Yes, sir.
under the control of local bodies will be responsible to supervise whether they are functioning. Otherwise, the water supply to the people will be very dirty and
Yes, sir.
unhygienic.
Yes, sir.
So, you know how water treatment plants work?
Sir, I'm not exactly aware. I only have a brief idea. Yes, sir.
Kindly have a look at that. Huh?
Yes, sir. I will.
Actually, one last thing, in your deck, you mentioned about smokeless stove.
Yes, sir.
They are available in the market also.
Yes, sir.
So, what are the advantages in this?
So number one, it removes the concept of indoor air pollution as a menace that rural women in the country face. So they use traditional wood fire and other products to light their chulha, and they are the main victims of they and their children are the main victims of smoke. So these smokeless chulhas eliminate this problem by number one, increasing the efficiency of fuel burn, and number two,
Where does the smoke go?
sir, it is directed via chimneys to the terrace. Yes, sir. So it is not. It no longer remains a source of indoor air pollution, but it still does contribute to air pollution as a whole, for which we need to shift away from wood-fired coal in the first place. So.
And what about the heat content? Will it increase the heat content of the stove also?
Yes, sir. So it increases the efficiency of fuel burn. The design is such that.
How does it increase the heat?
Sir, basically, it enhances the combustion of the coal involved. Sir, I'm not able to recall the exact design. It is an open source chulha by Philips, and this was this exact model was what we replicated under this initiative.
It's fuel efficient also. Will it
Yes.
consume less fuel?
Yes, sir. It
What is the
consumes.
fuel used? Kerosene or anything?
Yes, sir. So they use the traditional coal that they use their traditional fuel, cow dung coal. We only solve indoor air pollution, so it is only an intermittent solution for them. Yes.
Surbhi, in your extracurricular activities, you have mentioned listening to ghazals.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the meaning of ghazal?
Sir, ghazal is a kind of song which is melancholious in its nature. So it is written in.
No, not nature. I'm asking what is the meaning of ghazal?
Okay. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to recall. Okay. Okay.
So, what is the difference between a ghazal and nazm?
Sir, a ghazal is composed of various nazms. If I'm
No.
okay.
In the form. Ghazal comprises of what?
Sir, nazms.
No, ghazal.
Sir, I'm not aware. Sir.
Ghazal comprises of the couplets,
Yes, sir.
which may not be related to each other.
Okay.
Each couplet may have an independent theme. Which is your favorite ghazal?
Sir, Ranjish Hi Sahi by me.
Okay. Okay. So its couplets, are they related to each other?
Sir, because it is a form of a story, so
Okay.
they follow each other. For instance,
follow each other?
Yes, sir.
So in nazm, there is a continuity of idea.
Okay.
Have you heard "Baat niklegi to door talak jayegi"?
Yes, sir.
Jagjit Singh.
Yes, sir.
That is a nazm.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have any idea about radif and qafiya in a ghazal?
No, sir.
Meter,
Okay.
matla, makta?
No, sir.
No. Just be prepared.
Okay.
These kind of questions can be asked.
Okay.
Okay. And do you know Urdu?
No, sir.
Do you understand the meanings and
Uh,
how do you
yes,
follow
sir.
ghazal?
Sir, all the ghazals that I listen to, the first time I listen to a new ghazal, I search for the meaning of its words, and then I.
So do you have any, are you using some app or some website or something?
No, sir, I simply Google. There is one link called rekhta.org
Rekhta.
that frequently
So it
comes
has the
up.
app also
Okay, sir.
and
I'm
the
not-
dictionary app also.
Okay.
What is the meaning of, what is dictionary called in Urdu? Lugat.
Okay. Okay.
So you have also mentioned non-fiction, especially development economics.
Yes, sir.
So which non-fiction have you read about development economics?
Sir, I've read Good Economics. I've
Okay.
read India in Uncertain Glory by Amartya Sen.
Okay.
Other than this, sir, I've read Poor Economics.
Okay.
Then, sir, Why Nations Fail.
Okay.
And
Why
then,
nations fail? Have you?
Yes, sir. I've
Okay.
read.
Do you have any idea about B.B. Rostow?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
So,
also,
why nations fail? Just give me a 4-line theme of
Okay.
that particular book.
So the author tries to explain what are the factors that contribute to some nations succeeding and others failing. He
Okay.
makes this point that the strength of institutions that a nation is built of will decide its future.
Okay.
For instance, the Indian ethos of democracy have been built on a strong base of its constitution and a history of its freedom struggle, which nurtured deliberation between various freedom fighters. So, based on these democratic ethos, India has been able to survive many challenges. On the other hand, for instance, Latin American countries, they had this strong background of the private sector meddling with political affairs. And even today, we see the monopoly of private sectors or other issues around this. So he basically says that the strength of the institutions in a nation or its current standing is decided by its past history, how its institutions have evolved,
There
etc.
is also the factor of how the Spain governed its colonies, isn't
Yes,
it?
sir.
There is a difference between
Yes, sir.
the Great Britain and Spaniards, how they administered their colonies.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Surbhi. You can wait outside. We'll call you back for feedback.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take your seat, please. Surbhi, your interview is over. Relax.
Yes.
आपका इंटरव्यू कब है? When is
Sir,
your-
11th of May.
11th
There's
of
one
May.
month.
So 1 month.
Yes, sir.
You got time. No tension. Now, how do you assess yourself?
Sir, chemical engineering was a consistent weak area.
That is one.
Yes, sir.
Second, sir asked about all the patwadis, these things, the
Yes,
basic
sir.
structure.
Yes, sir.
There's another weak area. Then sir asked about those basically your chemical engineer, the wastewater treatment plant,
Yes,
industrial
sir.
effluents, those are you're expected to know. Then your that is your Bible or Quran, Bhagavad Gita. So
Yes, sir.
everything about them you must know backwards, forwards. Developmental economics you know well, but this ghazal you have written, you yourself have written.
Yes, sir.
So you must. Then the smokeless chullas, how to increase the efficiency. It is a design, basically it's a design, a
Yes, sir.
concentrated design. So that's why the combustion rate is higher. So at that opposite, as you said, gas is out. So it's not really a solution. But inside air pollution, the efficiency why increase because it's a design. Design make it this thing like the heat is not dissipated, it is concentrated.
Sir, I had a brief idea that, but I did not want to say because it wasn't
No,
confirmed.
you are an engineer, no? So you can always just common sense.
Yes,
How
sir.
do you increase efficiency? You concentrate.
Yes,
You
sir.
decrease efficiency, dissipate.
Dissipate.
These are
Yes, sir.
just simple. You are a mathematician, you are also mathematics. So yes, these are all
Yes.
common. Many things you may not know. Just
ये
I mean, of course,
फिजिकल
one
कट
should not
करके
guess,
लगाया
but
हुआ है
these are
अगर
somebody
आप इसमें कट करते हो तो
be
प्लेस
able
कर
to
सकते
guess.
हो
I mean, that's why I'm very surprised you said how to increase efficiency or not. Anyway, so then about Punjab.
you can easily center
By
the
Punjab will be asked. So Punjab, all the chemical, these transborder, all these problems, the narcotics, then the drone, the all these things sir was asking about. These obviously you have to have practical solutions. You cannot have
Punjab
it.
is demanding, sorry sir.
Yeah.
Punjab is demanding Chandigarh.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is.
कभी आप देख लीजिए।
Oh, that Punjab versus Haryana. That
Yes.
that often issue just who is the then Punjab that river disputes etc.
Yes,
The
sir.
river dispute is very important. Satluj versus all that. Then the Punjab versus the other states, there is some migration of labor, in migration, out migration. So this and general economy you didn't ask. So effect of pandemic, then post pandemic, all the effect, then the health infrastructure. Punjab is good or I mean whether if you are to improve it further. I was industrial. She was said I said asked about general points, but but more refined, because Punjab will be your core subject, will be one of the core subjects. So that you take anything that every single subject you backwards, you have to know in depth.
Okay.
So you are very pleasant, communication very nice, every body language very nice, but your there are big gaps. Although you have done well in many universities, you have done well, you will do well. But these are the improvements you want to ask us anything.
एक चीज मैं और सर ऐड करना चाहूँगा. You must have a look at the socio-economic indices of Punjab
Yes.
and the challenges
Those
like
figures,
female
figures.
fertility, sex ratio,
And vis-a-vis other
And,
states, Kerala,
dowry,
Kerala,
and all those things are there. And how do these parameters compare with the
compared to
Haryana,
others,
neighboring
Haryana,
states?
and
ये भी आप
also
देख
the
लीजिएगा.
best states like Kerala.
This is a very common question they ask.
Common,
Okay.
Haryana, then Kerala. How do you compare
Kerala,
Kerala? What are the number one even development indices? Human one, and female, and then this infant mortality, morbidity, mortality, all these. Then the dropout rate in the primary school, all that dropout. Nutritional deficiency, anemia, then these all these. So anything you want to ask?
Yes, sir. 2-3 specific questions. Sir, number one, you asked about the industrial effluent. So was my answer there satisfactory or?
It was incomplete.
Okay.
You have to read about it, more about it.
Okay.
How industrial effluents are treated, what kind of
Yes,
chemical,
sir.
because you are a chemical engineer, that's why I asked you.
Yes, sir.
So
Technical.
what kind of chemical
Okay.
treatment is given, you know?
Tech-
And similarly for water treatment plants also, chlorine
Okay.
or whatever is.
No, sedimentation. Start with sedimentation.
No?
Sedimentation.
Sedimentation, this and that.
Then obviously chlorination in the end. Chlorination, they said is don't do much chlorination because
The way
it should
it
be.
spoils the taste. and
Not only taste, because too much of chlorination is bad for health.
Bad
So
for
they
liver
like
and.
when they
quite-
want to mask these PhD fellows, that they mask everything by too much of chlorination. Too much of
Yes.
chlorination is bad. But there are other.
Okay.
Then water supply, drinking water supply, then underground, there are a lot of pollution, underground, the chemical pollution, the biological pollution, how to drinking water, surface water versus underground, subsurface water, rainwater harvesting, all these are natural corollary. Then maybe there's sanitation, Swachh Bharat mission, open defecation free villages, the individual latrines, then the community latrine, the female century, all that sort of thing, these natural corollaries. So these Punjab, anything Punjab, and also India vis-a-vis Punjab had what do they say?
National average.
National average vis-a-vis like that. That's that. Anything else you want to?
Yes, sir. 1-2 specific questions. Like, so you asked me about agri-tech. I listed down a number of innovations. Should I have explained 1 or 2 in detail, or was it okay to just mention what all is happening?
No, that your answer was satisfactory on agricultural technology, and you are following the new innovations, new startups in agri-tech.
Yes.
That's good enough.
Okay.
Good enough.
Okay.
But if you have learnt about something still newer,
Yes, sir.
then read about it and be ready to.
Sir, so
Tell.
I had read about a number of technologies which have not yet come to India. For instance, there is a spray named R-Leaf. When they spray it on leaves, it automatically converts the nitrogen in air to nitrate, and so they don't need to add any fertilizer. But then it hasn't come to India. So should I mention technologies like these, or?
I think you should leave that apart.
Okay.
Remain focused on Indian
Okay.
scenario.
Okay, and sir, border issues. You said that give practical applications, but our comprehensive border management scheme, it itself says we should employ smart fences. So should I not quote the ones which
No,
are?
you should, but at the same time, you should be a little practical. Saying smart fence. It is good to say smart fencing, but what exactly is smart fencing? How will you make it smart? So you need to just instead of catching only these catchphrases, you should know what will make it a smart. And you cannot just rely upon the technology, right? There are many other things that you can do. And for that, international border LAC is LOC is something that has been marked by the armies between themselves. That becomes
Okay.
LOC. Okay? And LAC is something that is not even marked between the armies. That is what the upside thing is.
Okay.
The border between India and Pakistan is LOC in Kashmir area. Elsewhere it is international border because we both
Yes,
accept
sir.
it. Kashmir is not even, so it is line of control. But that is controlled between the armies. But in Aksai Chin, it is line of actual control, where it is not even marked between the armies, and that is why this skirmishes are happening. So, but as Sir also said regarding Punjab, you have to, because when Punjab comes, so a lot of other things get overshadowed by that. So, India-Pakistan relations, then Punjab actually slipping down in every possible index in last 20 years. That is a big news, and people have come to realize it because of the elections right now. So these things, so you have like an entire month. So list down so many questions about your DAP, about Punjab, and other questions that you will face in different mock interviews, and then just prepare your content, because here everyone felt that your delivery, your everything was perfect. It's just that somewhere in questions, the content was found a little bit somewhere not
Lacking. Yes.
not lacking, but not really what was designed. Right?
Okay.
So you can.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.